Namaste, good morning. Friends, I'm happy majority of you answered the questions well. Okay, so you got the allowances right, and one or two of you have asked me about question number 7. At the end of the class, we will discuss that. At the end of the class, those who have a doubt, please stay back. I will discuss that. So, in the partly taxable, partly allowances, we saw HRA, children education allowance, hostel allowance, uniform, conveyance, and traveling allowance. There are two things in transport allowance I want you to understand. In transport allowance, I've kept it personally open because those are for your objective type questions, very useful. Okay, so the fifth one, transport allowance. Transport allowance. Transport allowance. Normally, this is fully taxable for employees. Normally, this transport allowance, my dear friends, is fully taxable for all employees. Normally, if they give you transport allowance, it is fully taxable. Okay? Okay? Now, however, whenever the law uses the term however, they are going to speak about exception. Whenever the law uses the term however, they write a sentence and say however, that means they are going to speak about exceptions. However, where an employee is physically disabled, physically challenged, handicapped employees, where an employee is physically disabled, then then transport allowance is exempt for such employee up to rupees 3,200 per month. In other words, actual receive or rupees 3,200 per month, whichever is less is exempt. Please understand, where an employee is physically disabled, okay, physically challenged, then transport allowance is exempt for such employees alone to the extent of 3,200 per month. That is actual or 3,200, whichever is less is exempt. One more provision in this. One more provision in this. In the case of, my dear friends, in the case of employees of a transport organization, employees of MTC, that is Metro Transport Corporation, employees of KPN, employees of various transport organization, Exemption is 70% of allowance or rupees 10,000 per month, whichever is less. In case of employees of a transport organization, 70% of allowance or rupees 10,000, whichever is less. Read through. So, my dear friends, transport allowance is normally fully taxable for employees. It is exempt for two categories of employees. Those working in a transport organization, 70% of the transport allowance or rupees 10,000, whichever is less, is exempt. The second is employees who are physically disabled. Okay, for them I give an allowance of 3,200 per month. Okay, so again, whichever is less is exempt. The note which I
Sir,
fail, yeah, go ahead.
டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸ்க்கு எதுக்கு சார் எக்ஸம்ஷன் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க?
அவங்களுக்கு வந்து டிராவலிங் இஸ் அ பார்ட் அண்ட் பார்சல். அந்த எம்ப்ளாயிஸ்க்குலாம் போயிட்டே இருக்கணும். டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்ல ஒரு இடத்துல இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு போகணும், திடீர்னு ஒரு இடத்துல இறக்கி விட்டுருவாங்க, அங்கேயே வீட்டுக்கு போகணும் அவங்க. ஸோ ஃபார் தெம் தே வாண்ட் தே என்ஜாய் தட் பர்டிகுலர் பெனிஃபிட். Well, lot of you texted me. I then realized that probably I should have written this note in the last class itself. I have taken both the answers, but here is the note for the question you asked. Note: if the question is silent, then DA forms part. I know I should have written this note and then asked you to do that question. Okay. If the question is silent, my dear friends, you should take a favorable assumption that DA is forming part. So, my dear friends, we categorized salaries into five: general, allowance, perquisite, terminal benefits, profit in lieu of salary. We saw general with a specific focus on how to compute grade system of salary. Allowances are divided into three. Allowances are divided into three. Okay, fully taxable allowances, which is a big list. DA, whether forming part or not, entertainment allowance, city compensatory allowance, normally transport allowance, all personal allowances, lunch allowance, medical allowance, fully taxable. Fully exempt, you can safely forget one or two things. Partly taxable, partly exempt allowances, in that the most important is HRA, then education, uniform, hostel, conveyance, and transport allowances. These are partly taxable, partly exempt allowances. I'm going into category 3. Perquisites. I'm going into category 3, perquisites. What is an allowance, friends? Anybody, can you unmute and say what is an allowance? Anybody?
So allowance is a non-monetary benefit.
Abhiya, ஒரு நிமிஷம் அப்படியே அந்த பேஜை திருப்பி படிங்க.
Yes. 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, take your time.
Allowances are fixed monetary payments.
It is monetary. Allowances, friends. Allowances are fixed monetary payment for a specific purpose. It is fixed and it is with a clear direction for what purpose you should use it. Allowances are fixed monetary payment for a specific purpose. I give you and say use it for house rent or use it for accommodation, use it for children education, use it for entertainment, use it for the cost of living, use it for your medical expense. So I give the amount, I the employer give the amount and say what purpose the employee can use the amount. Allowances are fixed monetary payment, it's money terms, fixed monetary payment with a direction for a specific purpose. Perquisites, non-monetary benefit provided by an employer to an employee. Friends, perquisites are non-monetary benefit. It doesn't come to you in terms of money. It doesn't come to you in terms of cash. These are non-monetary benefit. Not in terms of money, non-monetary benefit provided by an employer to an employee. Okay, it doesn't come in terms of money, but it is a benefit. I give my employee a certain sum of money and ask him to use it for the purpose of his accommodation, house rent allowance, HRA. I give a certain sum of money and say use it for the purpose of your accommodation, house rent allowance. I give him a certain sum of money and use it for your children education. I give employee a house to stay. I give my employee a house to stay. I don't give money. I am not giving money, but I am giving a benefit itself. It is a non-monetary benefit. I say to my employee, your children can study in the school owned by the employer. I don't give money, but the employee is getting benefited. Non-monetary benefit provided by an employer to an employee is known as perquisite, my dear friends. Allowance kum perquisite kum, what is the difference? Allowance is monetary. Perquisite is non-monetary benefit provided by an employer to an employee. Section 17 specifies the list of allowances and Rule 3 specifies the method of computing the value of perks. Section 17 says, what are all the list of, sorry friends. And rule 3 says, how to value the same. Section 17 says, the list of perquisites. Rule 3 says, the basis of its valuation. One by one, we are going to see. Okay? Right? The first and the most important. First and the 12th are going to be the important ones. Okay? Okay, you can even write perquisite number 1. Rent-free accommodation or concessional rental accommodation. Rent-free accommodation or concessional rental accommodation. Rent-free accommodation or concessional rental accommodation. This is what is the example I told you. The employer provides to the employee a house to stay. The employer provides to the employee a house to stay. Either free of cost, that is, he need not pay any rent, rent-free accommodation, or a small, a marginal rent, 1000 rupees, 1500 rupees, concessional rental accommodation. Rent-free accommodation, which means the employee need not pay any rent to me, or concessional, a small amount will be deducted from his salary as rent. Concessional rental accommodation. Perquisite number 1, RFA or concessional rental accommodation. Point number 1, where the employer provides to employee accommodation facility either free of cost or at concessional rates, it's regarded as perquisite. Where employer provides to employee, accommodation facility either without charging rent, either free of cost or at a marginal rent or at concessional rent, it is regarded as perquisite. It is regarded as perquisite. How will I provide to my employee? How will I provide a house to my employee? Only 2 options. Either the house should be owned by me, or I myself takes it on rent and gives it to my employee. Repeating, how will the employer provide accommodation to employee? Employer can either own the house or employer himself takes it on rent and provides it to the employee. Accommodation may either be owned by the employer or employer takes it on rent and provides it to employee. Accommodation may either be owned by the employer or employer himself takes it on rent and provides it to the employee. These are all the 2 options. Where employer owns sorry, where employer owns the accommodation. Okay, friends, where employer owns the accommodation, where employer is owning the accommodation. Okay, where employer owns the accommodation. Okay, perquisite value depends on the population of the area. Where employer owns the accommodation, PV, perquisite value, will depend upon where he is owning. In which area he is owning depends on the population of the area. If the population of the area is less than 10 lakh people, if the population of the area is less than 10 lakh people, okay, PV is 7.5% of salary. If the population of the area is less than 10 lakh people, then the perquisite value will be 7.5% of salary. If the population of the area is more than 10 lakh but less than 25 lakh people, if the population of the area is more than 10 lakh but less than 20 lakh people, PV is 10% of salary. PV is 10% of salary. If the population is more than 25 lakhs, PV is 15% of salary. So PV is 15% of salary. Friends, I am repeating. The accommodation may either be owned by the employer or he himself takes it on rent and provides it to the employee. Where it is owned by the employer, what is the perquisite value? 7.5% or 10% or 15% of the salary, as the case may be. What is that as the case may be? If the population is less than 10 lakh, 7.5%. More than 10 lakh, less than 25 lakh, 10%. More than 25 lakh, 15%. Okay. Under that, write a note. Under that, write a note. Note. If the question is silent, then population is more than 25 lakh people. If the question is silent, then the population is more than, see, in a country so populated, finding an area with less than 10 lakh people is the number of people who are visiting Tinagar during Diwali season exceeds 10 lakh. So you can imagine. So it is unbelievable. 10 to 25, 10%. More than 25, 15%. With a note, if the question is silent, then population is more than 25 lakh.
இந்த ப்ரொவிஷன் இல்லாமல் லாங்
Raja?
இந்த மாதிரி ப்ரொவிஷன் இல்லாமல் ரொம்ப நாளாவே இப்படிதான் இருக்கா இல்ல சேஞ்ச் பண்ணலாம்?
No, this underwent an amendment in 2005. The previous was different. Next, where employer takes house on rent and provides it to the employee. Where, my dear friends, employer himself takes the house on rent. Okay, where the employer himself is taking a house on rent and providing it to the employee. Where employer takes a house on rent and it is provided to the employee. Okay. Perquisite value is 15% of salary or actual rent paid by employer, whichever is less. Perquisite value is 15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less. Okay, two things. Either the house can be owned by the employer or employer himself takes it on rent and gives it to the employee. Where employer owns the accommodation. Then 7.5%, 10% or 15% of the salary, as the case may be, nothing but population. Where employer himself takes it on rent and provides it to the employee. 15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less. In the whole of income tax law, normally when they are speaking about exemption, they will say whichever is less. When they are going to speak about taxing, they will say whichever is higher. Normally, HRA, minimum transport employees, 3,200 or actual receipt, whichever is, 70% or 10,000, whichever is less. So, whole of law you will find, whenever they are going to give a deduction, that is exemption, they will say whichever is less. Whenever they are going to tax it, they are going to say whichever is higher. So this is computing the taxable amount. What is the perquisite value? Perquisite value is going to be the taxable amount. But interestingly, in this place alone, they have used 15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, that is going to be taxable, but they are saying whichever is less. Interesting place in law. Who knows, the finance minister is staying in such a house, so probably it is like that. It is not new to us that law will bend or policy makers will make some adjustments like that. I don't know how many of you know that there is a train from Bangalore to Chennai, Chennai to Bangalore, known as Lal Bagh Express. This was introduced in the year 98 or so. The train is now very popular, no two ways about it. The train starts from Bangalore morning 6:30, reaches Chennai around 1:32, starts from Chennai around 2:30, reaches Bangalore in the night around 9 o'clock. When the train was introduced, everybody was surprised. Why? Nobody was demand at that time. Lot of other demands were there. Lot of other demands were there. Why suddenly this train? Because we already have something known as Brindavan. We had other 2 or 3 trains which are also passed through trains. Why suddenly this train when there are other routes where we are demanding? But people were happy. Okay. There was a train from Chennai to Bangalore, Bangalore to Chennai. There was Sadapti also at that time. So people were wondering at the same time, fine. We have a train, we'll just enjoy it. It took some time to understand this. At that time, during the 98 time, the railway minister was from the city of Karnataka. He was residing in Bangalore. His daughter got an admission in Vellore Institute of Technology. Vellore Institute of Technology, she got her medical seat in Vellore Institute of Technology, VI. So when you just look into it, the train starts at 6:30 in Bangalore, reaches the Katpadi Jollarpet junction, which is very closer to that Vellore Institute of Technology, around 9:30, comes to Chennai after that. From Chennai, it starts at 2:30 or 3, reaches that junction at 5:30 or 6, and goes in the evening or night to Bangalore. Maximum your father, if at all required, someday he will drop you at school or college. Maximum. Although I know it is not daily, maximum he might drop you 1 or 2 days. Here is a father who ran a special train. He ran a full train just because his daughter has to go to the college and daily come back home. Not even he is putting her in hostel. Imagine that. This is nothing. This is nothing. Okay. So, but today the train is very popular. Even that day the train is very popular. I'm no doubt about it. But when they looked into the purpose of this, these type of things came in. The problem of classroom is no more like previous classrooms, that everything is getting recorded. So namakulla irukattum. Okay, it's purely between you and me, the whole story. Okay, I'm a very weak person. Okay, so coming back, friends. So the house may be owned by the employer, or he himself takes it on rent and provides it to the employee. This is how. In case of government employees, perquisite value will be area allotted into rate per square feet. Area allotted into rate per square feet. Suppose a police constable is allocated in Nungambakam police quarters a 1,000 square feet apartment. Okay, and they fix that for Nungambakkam, 80 rupees is the per square feet value. So perquisite value will be directly computed 1,000 into 80, 80,000 per annum. That's how they will determine. Friends, for government employees, the basis of determination is what is the house area allotted into rate per square feet which they determine. That is for government quarters, government apartments, all these things they do like this. Where employer also furnishes the apartment. Where employer also furnishes the apartment. Okay, employer also he gives AC, furniture sets, refrigerators, like that. He also furnishes the accommodation. Where employer also furnishes the accommodation. PV of furnishing will be, opposite value of furnishing will be 10% of cost of furniture plus 10% of cost of furniture plus lease rent, if any, higher charges. That's what it means. 10% of cost of furniture plus, if I am paying any higher charges, something I have taken on higher, then that. So in both, if something is owned, on that 10% of cost of furnishing. If something is taken on higher, that lease charges. So PV of furnishing will be 10% of cost of furniture plus higher charges, if any. Where employer deducts a certain sum of money from the salary of employee, where employer deducts a certain sum of money from the salary of the employee. It is known as concessional rental accommodation. So it's not free, it's concessional rental, where employer deducts a certain sum of money from the salary of the employee. I am deducting from the employee's salary a certain sum of money. It is known as concessional rental accommodation. The sum deducted will be allowed as a reduction from perquisite value computed. The sum deducted will be allowed as a reduction. You will compute the perquisite value. You know how to compute the perquisite value in the previous cases. Okay, minus amount recovered. Okay, amount recovered. First, I will compute the perquisite value, taking 7.5%, 10%, 15%, etc. And then whatever the employer recovers, I will allow it as reduction, deduction, amount recovered. Put your pen down, read through all the points.
Sir, sir, if the employee lives in his own house, then he will not get this perquisite.
If employee lives in his own house,
No, but this perquisite will not be
will not be
applied.
given. Yeah. Where is the question of perquisite? What will he do if I give him a house also?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, the rate per square feet is guideline value or the what value, sir?
It is guideline value, but not the guideline value as you understand. It is there as a chart, not for our, in exam, they will give you rate per square feet.
Actual, like they charge guideline value, sir.
It is not the guideline value as you think. Okay, this is a rental guideline value. I don't think you would have seen that.
Okay, sir.
I hope this is clear. Okay, let me start from the top and explain you again. Friends, perquisite means non-monetary benefit provided by an employer to an employee. It is coming without, it is not coming in terms of cash, it is non-monetary. Then, how perquisite value will be determined? It depends upon, the first one is rent-free accommodation, where employer provides to employee accommodation facility either free of cost or at concessional rent. The accommodation may either be owned by the employer or he himself takes it on rent and provides it to the employee. Where the accommodation is owned by the employer, PV is 7.5% or 10% or 15% of salary as the case may be. Where employer takes the accommodation on rent and provides it to the employee, PV is 15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less. Where it is a government employee, area allotted into rate per square feet. Okay, then where the employer also furnishes the accommodation, PV of furnishing 10% of cost of furniture or sorry, plus higher charges if any, and where I deduct or I recover some of the amount as rent, whatever I recovered will be allowed as a reduction or deduction from employees. Bharati, what do you want now? I know you want too many things, but do you have a question for me? What is that?
So that in case of government employees, whether it is owned or rented, in both the cases it will
Government
be.
quarters are all owned by government. All wherever you see government quarters, RBI quarters, police quarters, those are all owned by government.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
that's not the question I expected.
Sir, here also the salary means
That's beautiful. That's the question I expected. Wherever the law uses the term salary, they have to define salary. Wherever inside a section they use the term salary, they have to define what is salary. Okay, so we are writing and putting a box. Okay, salary means basic pay plus DA forming part plus all monetary receipts plus all other allowances to the extent they are taxable. Salary means basic pay plus DA forming part plus all monetary receipts like bonus, incentive, commission, plus all other means other than DA. DA already we have written. All other allowances, not fully, to the extent they are taxable. In the last class, we know that children education allowance received is 14,400, exempt is 2,400. So taxable is only 12,000. So I will take this 12,000 only. Similarly, conveyance received is 24,000. Exempt is 14,400. 9,600 is only taxable. So all other allowances to the extent they are taxable. Salary means basic pay plus DA forming part plus all monetary receipts, that is which is falling under the general category, plus all other allowances to the extent they are taxable. Read through. I hope it is clear to you. Okay. To your practical notebook. To your practical notebook, heading perquisites, under that a subheading rent-free or concessional rental accommodation. To your practical notebook, my dear friends, heading perquisites, subheading under that rent-free or concessional rental accommodation. I am in the 9th question of page number 47. I am in the 9th question of page number 47. Mr. Drona furnishes the following information: basic pay, DA forming part, lunch allowance, medical allowance, city compensatory allowance, children education allowance 400 per month per child for 3 children, transport allowance. The employer provides RFA to the employee in Delhi. Compute PV of RFA. Computation of salary for the purpose of RFA. Computation of salary for the purpose of RFA. Particulars: inner column amount, outer column amount. Computation of salary for the purpose of RFA. You will understand along with RFA allowances also in a better manner. Basic salary 12,000 into 12, 1,44,000. Basic salary 1,44,000. DA forming part 6,000 into 12, 72,000. 6,000 into 12, 72,000. Just a minute. DA forming part 6,000 into 12, 72,000. Varsha, unmute yourself, Varsha.
Yes, sir.
Lunch allowance, is it taxable?
I think so.
Don't think, Paturlama. Take our theory notebook, keep it side by side.
Sir?
Take our theory notebook also, keep it in the side. Let us not
Yes,
think,
sir.
let us be very sure. Can you read that? Can you see in that?
Yes, sir. I will see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fully taxable.
Fully
Sorry.
taxable. Lunch allowance. Stay unmuted, Varsha. Lunch allowance, friends. 2,000 into 12, 24,000. Lunch allowance, 24,000. What about medical allowance, Varsha?
Medical allowance. 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, it is fully taxable.
Yeah. Medical allowance, 5,000 into 12, 60,000. 5,000 into 12, 60,000. What about CCA? That is City Compensatory Allowance, Varsha.
It is fully taxable, I think so.
Don't think, I can tell you.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not sure about it, but children CEA.
It's there in your notebook. Be sure it's there in your notebook. Start from the first. Take your time. Don't get tense. Don't rush up. Patiently read.
Yes, sir.
Sienna, can you help her?
Yeah, it is fully taxable.
It is fully taxable. Varsha, you in the fully taxable, look for the second thing.
Yes, sir, it is fully taxable.
It is fully taxable, friends. CCA, okay, 3,000 into 12, 36,000. CCA, 3,000 into 12, 36,000. Varsha, children
Yes, sir.
education allowance.
200 per month for 2 child.
We all, including the whole class, wish that you become the finance minister, but it is not 200 per month. It is
Sorry.
No. Come on.
It is 100 per month. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah.
no issues. Okay. Friends, children education allowance, you should write it. Okay. Allowance. What is received in the inner column? 400 into 3 into 12. This is received. Children education allowance, they have received 14,400 less exempt, my dear friends, 100 per child per month for 2 children. So the taxable component comes to 12,000. The taxable component comes to 12,000. Children education allowance, what is received is 400 per child per month for 3 children. So what is received is 14,400 less exempt 100 into 2 into 12, 2,400. So we need, because the law says salary is equal to all other allowances to the extent they are taxable. So only 12,000 should go to the outer column. Transport allowance, Varsha.
It is fully taxable, sir.
It is fully taxable. 2,500 into 12. Okay, friends. Okay. So, salary for the purpose of RFA, salary for the purpose of RFA, my dear friends, salary for the purpose of RFA, 3,78,000. Salary for the purpose of RFA, 3,78,000. Okay. Perquisite value of RFA, nothing but 3,78,000 into 15%. It is in Delhi, so obviously you know the population will be more than, okay, if the question is silent also, the population is more, so 56,700. Any doubts, ask me, friends. Perquisite value, first I compute the salary. Perquisite value of RFA is salary into 15%. Yes, somebody is unmuting. You can ask me the doubt.
So just because they're not given any details about rent paid by the employer, we consider as it is own work.
Perfect. Super. Hope this is clear. Okay. Question number 10. Super furnishes the following: basic pay, DA, 150% of basic pay, of which 50% forms part, conveyance allowance, transport allowance, children education and hostel. So the exemption will be 100 for education and 300 for hostel. Put together you should give the exemption. 100 for education plus 300, 400 per child will be exempt. Medical allowance, bonus. Time starts now.
Bonus is a monetary receipt, no sir?
Always, yeah, it falls under the first category, general. Priyanka, can I have your answers? Oh. Sandhya, have you completed or still doing? Atiti, have you completed or still doing?
So completed.
Can you give me the answers?
Sir, I got the salary for the purpose of 2,78,000.
Your voice went feeble.
So 2,78,000 salary.
Okay.
And for the first subdivision, 15,000. Second one, 41,700. And third one, 34,000.
34,000.
Yes.
Third one we got is 34,800.
That alone, Atiti? Bharati said
Yes, sir. I
34.
made a mistake. It's 34,000.
Yeah, not. Divya Darshini, you got the same answer? Still doing means I'll wait. Neela, did you get the same answer? If you're still doing means I'll wait. Ovia,
Yes, sir.
you got the same answers?
No, sir. I got a salary of 2,76,800.
Let's check. Ramkumar,
Sir, same answer, sir. 2,78,000.
okay. Munir, you got the same answer? Not an issue. Let's go to the answer. Check it out on this Ovia, that is, we will check out on the salaries. Okay. Basic pay 1 lakh 20. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody is asking me about. I'll answer.
How is transport allowance fully taxable?
Because the law says transport allowance only traveling and conveyance to the extent officially spent is exempt. With regard to transport, it is always fully taxable.
Sir, so official expense is 1,200.
It should be ignored.
Sorry?
Should be ignored.
Sorry, sir.
No issues. It should not be taken. It should be ignored. Basic pay 1,20,000. PA 120 into 150% into 50%. Okay. Taxable conveyance allowance 9,600. Transport allowance is fully taxable. Children education and hostel allowance, what I received is 500 into 3 into 12. What is exempt is 400 into 2 into 12. I have not worked out detail. If you want, I'll work out. 500 into 3 into 12, 18,000 received. For education, 100. For hostel, 300. 400 is exempt. 400 into 2 into 12, 9,600 is exempt, remaining taxable. Medical fully taxable, bonus fully taxable. So that takes me salary for the purpose of RFA as 2,78,000. Salary for the purpose of RFA. Part A government employee directly 1,000 into 15. Part B is 15% of salary. Part C 15% of salary or rent paid by the employer, whichever is less. So 34,800. Any doubts, please ask me. You got it corrected, Ovia?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Vijay Lakshmi? Vijay, are you there? Sorry, Vidya. Not Vijay, sorry, Vidya.
Yes, sir.
You haven't got the material, right?
Yes, sir. I didn't get the
Okay,
material
because
yet.
I saw yesterday it was sent actually. Let's wait for today.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Raja,
traveling allowances-க்கும் transport allowances-க்கும் என்ன சார் வித்தியாசம்?
traveling transport allowance from home to office, office to home. Traveling allowance between cities. On official duty, I am being sent to Bangalore, I am being sent to Delhi, I am being sent to Bombay. This is known as traveling. Conveyance within the same city. Transport coming from office to home, home to office.
Okay.
Friends, question number 11. Ashwatthama furnishes the following particulars. Basic salary, DA 100% of basic salary forms part, bonus, conveyance allowance, transport allowance. The employee is provided with RFA, cost of furnishing amounts to 1,20,000 and apart from that 2 air conditioners are provided, compute PV of RFA. Let's patiently do. First, compute salary for the purpose of RFA. First, compute salary for the purpose of RFA. Start doing. I'm parallelly doing, but you do it on your own, please. Friends, I am getting 2,53,800. Please check your answer. Let me know if you have a different answer. I am getting 2,53,800. That is, basic pay is 96,000. Basic pay is 96,000. DA 100% of basic pay. Bonus 20% of basic plus DA. Conveyance allowance received is 30. Exempt is 21. Taxable 9. Transport allowance fully taxable. Okay. Now, friends, PV of RFA. Perquisite value of RFA 2,53,800 into 15%. 2,53,800 into 15%. 38,070. 38,070. PV of furnishing. PV of furnishing. 10% of cost of furniture. Okay. 10% of cost of furniture. Cost of furnishing amount to 1,20,000 into 10%. Higher charges which needs to be added up. Higher charges. This apart, 2 air conditioners were hired by employer paying and rent of 400 per month per air conditioner. 400 into 2 into 12. So, the PV of furnishing will be 21,600. The PV of furnishing will be 21,600. Nothing but 10% of cost of furniture. Okay. Plus higher charges. Okay. 21,600. My dear friends. My dear friends, you can keep it as two different answers. You can keep it as two different answers. PV of RFA, accommodation 38,070, furnishing 21,600. You can write it as two different answers. But if you want to write it as single answer, okay, PV of rent-free furnished accommodation. PV of rent-free furnished accommodation 59,670. Either you can have it as two different answers. One side accommodation, another side furniture. If you want to club it and write it as the heading. Perquisite value of rent-free furnished accommodation. The total will be 59,670. There is nothing wrong in keeping as two different answers also. Absolutely not an issue.
Sir,
Go ahead with your question.
so salary we are calculating 15%, no, sir.
Yes.
Is it the employer owning the accommodation or giving it as a rent?
Yes, yes. Unless the rent is given, it is always employer owned accommodation.
Okay.
I hope this is
Sir,
clear.
I have a
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
Sir, what? So this PV value is exactly the benefit given to the employee by the employer.
Yes, not exactly, supposed to be. Um, who asked? What is the name? Sorry.
Jagriti.
Jakriti. Generally, what happens is if a employee gets salary, no, he spends some 20-25% of his salary as house rent.
Okay.
ஒரு நார்மலா பார்த்தா ஒரு எம்ப்ளாயி if he doesn't have own house and he takes a house on rent and stays, 25-30% of his salary will normally go towards house rent. So here they are saying, I will only take 15% of your salary. Had I not given you house, this is the benefit. So you are enjoying a benefit, so I am taxing. That's the logic behind it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Next question is yours, please. Next question is yours. Patiently read and do it.
Forty-three 200, 38 400.
I take your answers. Yeah. Whichever part of the answer you want, I will explain.
Sir, can you explain the third part?
The third part goes like this. Okay. 15% of salary, that is nothing but 3,22,000 into 15% comes to 48,330, or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less, minus amount recovered plus 10% cost of furnishing, or you can show it as two different answers. If you remember, Bharati sold us the answer as 30,330 and 7,500. You can also have it as two different answers, absolutely not an issue. Any doubts? Ask me.
Sir, bonus will generally be paid in per annum basis.
I cannot definitely say. Normally, it is paid in per annum basis.
Sir, DA also it should be less than basic pay, or how can it be more than basic pay in question number 10?
I told you, basic pay to a larger extent remains constant, majority of the case. So, because basic pay increase panna, naraya benefits increase panna. So, they will increase the DA alone. That is not a new thing that is possible.
Sir, can I show computation of salary?
Yeah, sure.
So can you show the part C answers?
Yeah. Friends, special points. Please go to your theory notebook. Special points. Special points, both are important. If accommodation is provided in a hotel, if accommodation is provided in a hotel, for the first 15 days of stay, proposal, for the first 15 days of stay, PV is nil. For the first 15 days of stay, PV is nil. If accommodation is provided in a hotel, my dear friends, for 15 days I will not tax. I understand you have to find a place, stay. So for 15 days I will not tax. Beyond the 15 days, 24% of salary. PV will be 24. Salary has the same meaning. 24% of salary. PV is 24% of salary. If it is beyond 15 days, it is 24% of salary. This will be useful for your objective test. This is the first special point, and the second special point is also very important. Friends, I am working here, understand the case. I am working here and my employer is giving me RFA. I am transferred to Bangalore. I am transferred to Bangalore. There also I get a RFA. I am as of now working in Chennai. I am given RFA by the employer in Chennai. He takes a house on accommodation or his own house, he gives me as RFA. From 1st of June, I am transferred to Bangalore. There he is providing me RFA. I am yet to vacate my Chennai house because I have to go establish, then take my family. I am yet to vacate my Chennai house. How does this work? Where two RFAs are given due to transfer of an employee. Two rent-free accommodations are given due to transfer of an employee. The law is very considerate here. The law understands that you might take time. The law says for 90 days, that is 3 months. For 90 days, I will consider it as only one RFA. Within 90 days, transfer your family to Bangalore. If you are not, if you continue beyond the 3 months, then both RFA will be 15% of salary or actual rent, whatever it is. I'm repeating, employee is transferred and in the new place he gets a rent-free accommodation. The question is, if he has vacated the old one, fine, only one. He has not yet vacated the old one, there are now two RFAs. Should I value the perquisite for both RFAs? The law is very, very generous here, saying that no boss. For 3 months from the date of his transfer. Now I give an example from 1st June I am transferred. June, July, August. Only one house will be considered as rent-free accommodation. Beyond August, if he has not yet vacated, then start considering both the house for RFA. 15% of salary for both the house I will compute it. So that is the law. If an employee is transferred from one location to another city, he is also provided with RFA in the new city where he is transferred. Then PV will be computed only for one house for 3 months. Beyond 3 months, PV will be computed for both houses. For 90 days, I will compute only for one house. From the 91st day or from the 4th month onwards, if you have not vacated one of them, then I will consider for both houses. Any doubt, ask me.
So for that 3 months, on which house will PV will be computed?
Whichever is beneficial, he will take. Normally, the transfer from where he is getting transferred, that will only be taken, but he can choose whichever is beneficial to him. Anyhow, both are 15% of salary, wherever you take.
So after 3 months, it becomes 30% of salary.
Yes, Pakka.
Okay.
Okay. So now, if you understand it very globally, more into the law is how the law is. I transfer you to another location. I know you will take some 10-15 days to find a house even. So first 10-15 days, if you stay in a hotel also, no problem, PV is nil. After finding a house, 3 months, no problem, you can just take one house as PV. After that only both will be taken. So this is a special point, especially for your objective type question. Please remember this. So that is the answer for the subsequent question in your material. Okay. Question number 12A. Specify the perquisite value in case of accommodation facility provided in the hotel for the employee. Either in the material itself, write it and keep it, or in your notebook, in your practical notebook, write the answer. Where accommodation is provided in a hotel, where, or if you are writing it in the material, you need not write this, you can write directly the answer. If you are writing in the notebook, where accommodation is provided in the hotel. For the first 15 days, PV is nil. Beyond that, PV is 24% of salary. Beyond that, PV is 24% of salary. In the second case, specify the PV on transfer of employee and accommodation provided at both locations for the first 3 months. For the first 3 months, hyphen, PV will be valued for only one house. For the first 3 months, PV will be computed only for one house. Beyond that, for both the houses. Beyond that, for both houses. I hope it is clear. Okay. Right. Friends, till today I had some work, till tomorrow. That's why I was starting the class at 7 o'clock. From the post your mock test, it will be a class of 6 o'clock and we'll have a longer session. Till tomorrow in the mornings I have taken up something, so I have some small works. That's why the classes are started at 7 o'clock. Okay, I stop here. We will meet in the next class, mostly this Saturday, okay, for continuation of our discussion. Meet you on Saturday morning. In 1 hour from now, you will have Deepika's class, which will be again in my Teams only. Yeah, somebody is unmuting to ask a doubt.
Sir, 1 minute, 1 minute Excel sheet, sir.
Rajat?
Excel sheet,
yeah, sure.
Sum, sir. 12.
You want the salary computation?
Sir, part C, sir. That's
15% of salary or actual rent paid by the employer, whichever is less amount recovered. And of course, I'm adding the 10%. You can have it as 2 different answers also.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, question 7 solving sir, doubt.
Yeah. For those of you who want to have an idea on question 7. Okay, I am reading the question. I made the mistake of not changing the date. Naman pointed out to me that I have not changed the date. Okay.
Other than 2019 below 2020 sir, April and May. And the increment dates.
Yes, Raja. Mr. Okay. Arjun is employed 10,000. He is also entitled to basic DNS allowance 50% from Spark. Company gives him a RFA, a HRA of 6,000, which is increased to 7,000 from 1/1/2020. He also got an increment of 1,000 from 1/2/2020. This I should have changed. I changed here, but I forgot to change here. That's why I understand the confusion. So 5 splits will be there. 5 splits will be there. April and May will be split number 1. April and May will be split number 1. June to October. November and December. Jan as a standalone month because after February there is another increase. Feb and March. Jan as a standalone month and Feb and March. Okay, as I told you, I was little held up, but from today you will see all the Google Classrooms and other things getting filled and you will get the videos also on time. Okay. Meet you in the next classroom, my dear friends. Please wait. Deepika madam class will also happen in my Teams one.